How many of you in the room, as we're kind of heading for a close tonight, and I'm actually going to bring Corey back up here in a minute and help me with something, but how many of you are business owners? Business owners, awesome. Okay, good chunk of us. How many of you would like to be a business owner? All right. Oh, I like that. We got the, that's good stuff right there. I love it. Well, anyway, I want to introduce you guys to something I do talk about in the book, but I want to help make sure that you guys are set up to win in today's world and today's technology. I have a personal belief, and I know it's true, that each and every one of us were born with a God-given ability that we're good at. Some of you are actually, let's just raise up our hands for something. Let me ask you, who loves photography in the house? Okay, about 4 of us. Awesome. Okay, 5, 6, 7 of us. In the room, who's an amazing cook? Come on, this is the time to toot our own horns, all right? Wow, we got some cooks in the house. All right, how many of you have raised children and you feel like, you know what, I learned some things and I was a pretty good parent and I had some things that really worked for our family and I've raised our kids well? Awesome, guys, congratulations. How many of you are just have the gift of gab and you can just talk like nobody's business? Okay, so it's interesting, and if you didn't raise your hand, just raise your hand and just appease me, because you know what? That's right. Wave it like you just don't care. We are God's highest form of creation, and you know it's interesting how He chose us as humans to give us life, to give us breath, to give us spirit, and to give us ways of communication. I haven't figured out. Maybe birds do have their own communication. I'm not down on their language, but maybe they're kind of like, we're God's highest form of creation over here chirping, like, why did God choose us? You know, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking the same way, but I kind of have this feeling like we're God's highest form of creation, and He put us on this earth. And I found out that most people are going through life doing something that they don't love, doing something that they hate. Or should I say it like this? Giving 40 or 50 hours of our week to something or someone else, and then out of obligation, and the obligation is called food, shelter, you know, little things in life, right? But we have a tendency of giving the best years of our life to other people and finding very small pockets of time to do what actually we love. How many can relate to this? Okay, this was my life until I was 36 years old. Okay, so what's different I'm just going to say the olden days, was when I was in the furniture business, if I wanted to get in front of 5,000 people, I had to take out a $2,200 newspaper ad in the town newspaper to communicate with my potential audience. Okay? And that was for the second or the third page. Front page, it ain't happening, okay? Unless you're the president or something else, right? So if you want to be in the Oregonian in Oregon and run a furniture ad of about this size, it was about $2,200. Full page was about $8,000. And they said on average, by the time the people get to the third page, we've discovered it's somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 people through a distribution of over 50,000, okay? But I did it in hopes to get 25 people walking into my furniture store with hopes of selling about 7 of them something enough to not only pay for my ad, but to end up in profit. Okay? How many of you can relate to advertising? Okay? We are now, everyone pull out their smartphone. Everyone hold up your smartphone like we're at a rock concert. You know, in the olden days, we'd hold up a lighter. Now we just hold up our phones, all right? That's right. Just wave that light. Okay, you are holding a precious piece of technology. Okay, each of you own a multi-million-dollar device. You own a multi-million-dollar device because it's connected to multi-millions of people. And if I want you to get more than, because I more care about your heart than the transactional side of this. But the reason that I stand before you today is because I put this thing to work. The thing that I used to complain about, $120 a month, now I'm thankful. I would pay $1,000, $2,000 a month for this phone. Because we are living in a world that technology is free. It's being constantly innovated. Social media is free. There will come a day that we have to pay for it. There will come a day that Zuckerberg will not just be charging businesses, he will be charging end users to build and connect to your friends and your family. And right now, you were born with a unique ability. You're good at it. You probably love doing your unique ability. And I truly believe that everyone should deserve to be paid and be paid extremely well for adding value to this world and giving away your unique ability. Can anyone relate to this? Yep. Okay, because Facebook, Instagram, David can too. I know you can, because you got the millionaire mindset, right? You're connected. You're connected. And you know what? If you're smart, it's not a smartphone, you're using it as a dumb phone. Because these things are so powerful. They add value to so many people's life. Corey, I'd love for you to start making your way up here. I want to talk a little bit about, I want to make sure that we give you guys some tools that will benefit you to either get in the game or how to start. Okay, because the best way I know how to start is for 3 years, all my wife and I did was we gave away free value of what we were good at. Here's what we knew. We had about 250 friends on Facebook. Okay, they were mostly like church friends and things like that. And we had lost 70 pounds. I had lost 70 pounds on our health program, and my wife had lost 40. All we did for every single day was we gave a health tip to our friends and family on Facebook, and we continue adding to our circle. So Corey, I'd love for you, because you just talked about chasing, not just talked about it, you wrote a book about chasing better. How can each person in this room, that whether they own a business right now, is it on social media would be my biggest question. But number two is, how could people start to create this, we were talking about earlier, as a side hustle, to add value to this world to eventually they could be paid for it?
So social media is such an awesome thing. And I will say this, I think back to the whole fear thing, there's a lot of us that are afraid of social media. We're afraid of exposure. We're afraid of what people think. We're afraid of people perceiving that we're selling something, which I think is dumb, because everybody's selling something. Doesn't matter what you do. I don't care if you're a pastor, you're selling something. We all sell something, so we can get over that real quick. But 3 things that I think any of us can do, which, Doug, you mentioned 250 people. One thing that helps all of us to realize is that your network is as big as you want it to be. Every person's, your network. If it's like, oh, well, I only have a couple friends. Well, that's by your choice. Your network is as big as you choose for it to be. So if you want a bigger network, go get a bigger network, right? So if you really want to master this social media thing, I think really it's about 3 things that we've really learned how to do over a period of time. And you already mentioned one of them, which is add value. Like what is something that you can do with creation, with content, with value, that you can add value to people? And maybe we can talk about, I have a question for you and follow up to this, but because I think you can do these 3 things, but if you're missing one key component, it's all in the trash can, all right? So you wanna figure out a way that you can add value to people, right? Second thing is you want to make as many connections as you can. Use it as a way to make authentic connection with others. Marquine is phenomenal at that. I mean, I went to school at lunch today with him talking about how he makes connections with people, and it's just an awesome thing. And I have a pretty sneaking suspicion that Mark would build great businesses without social media. But you know what social media is? Social media is the walking sidewalk at an airport. Yeah, you ever go to an airport and see the walking sidewalk, and you see that doofus that's standing in the middle and not moving, and you're trying to get around them? You're like, dude, there's supposed to be, can I say doofus? Yes. Like, there's supposed to be a walk lane and a pass lane, and you're not supposed to be in both. Like, we're just going to get that out there, okay? But if you walk on a moving walkway, you're going to get to your destination faster. Right. Yeah. Social media is a moving walkway for you. If you use it correctly for your business, it will help you get to your desired destination faster, and I don't know why you'd want it to go slow. So it will help you get there faster. So number 1, add value. Number 2, make connections with a lot of people. And number 3, be consistent. Because a lot of times what people do is they try to put this into action, and they do it for a little while, but social media takes time to build traction. So I mentioned those three things, and Doug, this is what I kind of want you to just talk on, because I think that this is such a passion area for you. What I've learned is that you can master those three things and still not be making a lot of headway. And the main reason why is because you, and this is a tough one, this is a tough pill to swallow, maybe you are not an attractional person. Do you attract people to you? And if all you do is attract whiners to you, does that say something about you? Okay, if we're always complaining about the type of people we attract, is there a reason that you attract those types of people? Now, the more people you help, you're going to find weird ones. Okay, it's just the way it goes. You can't avoid it. But Doug, I want you to talk about that for a second. Like, what are some tips to being attractional?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, you can change who you are, but you have a personality. Like, you can't make someone like you. But at the end of the day, like, what are some tips that you can give people to how to show up on social media to be more attractional so that people honestly want what they have?
Yeah. I don't like trick questions, so I'm not going to trick anybody. You are the CEO of you. So how many CEOs do we have in the house tonight? Exactly. We're the CEO. And the olden days is you're gonna advertise a business. See, but people buy in 2019, people buy people. They do not buy product. They don't come to a church by who has the best free coffee. They come to a church because of who invited them and their experience of the way that they feel and the way that they are welcomed. Okay, not who is giving away a free coffee or I get a CD if I come and visit here. Okay, they're buying into you. And I just want anyone in the room to resist the fact that social media is going to go away and this whole thing will just go away and we'll get back to normal. Okay? We're not getting back to normal. This is the new normal. So I'm going to encourage you to evolve and adapt into it. You are a business. So I used to own a furniture store. Okay, so if I owned a furniture store today, that's furniture store. So if you own a brick and mortar business, or you're a real estate agent, or you're an insurance agent, or you build houses, I would make sure that you have a personal page and you have a business page for your business. If it's a traditional business, okay? Some of you where you are the business, it's just you, like me. I am my business, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that my business is active, is following, is creating content, and I'm not just posting. If I had a furniture store, I wouldn't just post what's on sale every day because I'm like, people are gonna get old. I would post about ideas on creating the environment. The side effect is you're gonna buy my furniture. I'm gonna give added value tips. If you're a health coach, you're gonna give tips on drinking water. You're gonna give tips on what you're using, the structure, the system that you're using. And if you're, so everyone, I think not everybody, but a lot of people raise their hands. Y'all, we would love people that have bedtime routine in place. You know how many parents with young children struggle because they're not contending. They're like, it's falling apart, past tense, with bedtime routine. And they would love for you to share how you get your kids into structure, how you get your kids into bed, how you got through potty training. Parents with teens, how you're navigating the teen years and not pulling your kids away from social media, but you're teaching them how to use it properly. We need these tips, and this world needs your value, because how many of you have just been annoyed with your Facebook feed sometimes, and it's just like people complaining about everything? You become an immediate person of influence when you add value to your Facebook. You show up differently. People start watching you. You post about photography. If you want to be eventually a paid-for photographer, you post about pictures that you've taken and how you got that angle and what you did in that area. You saw my friends Jeff and Ashlyn bouncing around here with the cameras. You know how he's working for me right now? I went and I did an event like this at his church. He created a video, a highlight video. I love the video. I love the way he did, but I didn't think nothing of it. He created a video at the end for free that was not a part of the contract. He gave me value, and then everyone said, oh my gosh, Doug, who created this video? Okay? So he did something that was not a part of his paid position for the contract. He gave me a video. Everyone loved the video. They said, who created your video? I'm like, this guy back at this church, I don't know. Okay, luckily I had gotten his phone number. I got a hold of him and I said, I'm considering doing a tour and I need a videographer. Are you like more of the stable thing, or you want to go for a life on the road and go on this crazy adventure with my family? He said, let's party. Okay? Because the only reason that he is here today working for me, and you know what, getting paid pretty well for what he does, is because he went out of his way to give me something for free, added value. He wasn't trying to get a job. He was living above the line, doing more than expected. In his unique ability, which is video, camera work, him and his wife, amazing. You're going to see these photographs. We'll get you guys them in the Massive Momentum page tonight. They'll post the photographs from the event, and you guys can use them. This stuff, because they're using their unique ability, and they're posting about it on social media. They're giving away things for free, and when you give stuff away for free, people will eventually want to pay you for it, Corey.
Yeah, we live in a world where everybody's trying to be unique. And I mentioned this in my book. I said, listen, if you really want to be unique, you can get another tattoo, or you can be someone that starts encouraging people. Because that's just our world. Like, we live in, I'm not anti-tattoos. I'm just really pro encouraging people. Like, we want to be different. We want to stand out. We want people to notice us. And I think people do that a lot on social media. Like, it's just about noise. And I don't know if you know this, but there's just a lot of noise out there. And because of the noise, people are inherently skeptical. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you do, there are people out there that are skeptical of it. You're a real estate agent, there's people out there thinking they don't need a real estate agent, they can do it on their own. And it'll save them 3%. Right? There are people, it doesn't matter what you do, there are people that are skeptical of it. But I've learned in my life that there are two antidotes to skepticism. Number one is results. You can't argue with results. And number two is trust. If you trust someone, you can be a little skeptical, but because you trust the person, you're much more willing to give that person a try. And how do you build trust? So when you are on social media, you can say, okay, how can I shout the loudest and make the most noise so that people hear what I have to say? You can spend more time trying to stand out, or you can spend a lot more time stopping trying to get noticed and start trying to notice other people. And use social media to say, hey, I'm going to use I'm going to be on social media, and I'm going to comment. You know, things that I've learned in my life? You ever had people that you're trying to have conversation with that just start ignoring you? Maybe you're someone, a follow-up person. If you've ever been, follow-up, this is a free tip, all right? Any of us that have to deal with business have to deal with follow-up. And you know why? Because very rarely do you talk to someone one time and all of a sudden they become a client. Mm-hmm. So we follow up. And sometimes when you follow up with someone, they stop talking to you. They stop returning your messages. And we start to look at ourselves and think, what did I do wrong? Right. You know what I've realized? When people stop talking to me, I am no longer talking to them about something they care about. That's why they're not talking to me. I'm talking to them about my business, wondering why they're not talking to me. You know why? Because they don't care about it yet. And most people are passive aggressive and don't know how to say no, so their way of saying no is to avoid you. Yep. Okay? So what you do is, instead of trying to sell them, instead of trying to get them as a client, start communicating with them about something they care about. I've had people in my life and in our business that I've talked to them about our coaching and about things, and all of a sudden they stop responding. And yet I will see this person. I'll take one example. This person caught a huge fish. And I saw a picture of it on social media. I took a picture of the screenshot, and I commented, and I sent this person a text and be like, dude, amazing fish. Tell me the story of how you caught that. Bubbles. Yep. Response.
Bubbles.
And you know what happened? He sends me the message, and this doesn't happen all the time, I'm just giving you this example. He's like, hey man, I'm not ignoring you, I just got some things going on in my life, and we'll talk when I'm ready. Yep. Great. I made the connection to talk to them about something that they care about, and stop waiting for them to care about the things that I care about.
And why this ties up to where we started the night, and as we start to wrap up, is that it comes back to a decision. When my wife and I made the decision to be obsessed about our mission and what we're for versus what we're against, people, it goes back to the saying, light yourself on fire, people will come to watch you burn. Okay, when you get serious about what you're doing, nobody likes to work with a part-time, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on any part-time real estate agents here. But either go full-time, and not full-time time, full-time commitment to it. Either you are or you're not. Because I will not buy a $1.8 million home from someone who kind of does real estate on the side. I'm not putting one of my biggest assets into the hands of an amateur, nor should you. So be unapologetic. If you can help people get healthy, like, you should be shouting it from the rooftops without being that guy. Don't be that annoying, but you're so confident. Because here's the simple fact. I know for a fact if people work with me, they get results. I also know for a fact if people work with Mark, their life and everything in their life moves forward. They get results. Because people who are obsessed like that will stand up here and say, if, and do his thing, like he is sold out. You know, if you're serious, it's like, I'm gonna hang out with Mark. If I ain't serious, I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm gonna sit in the back row. I'm gonna chill, like, dude, this dude is on something. He's on something. It's called getting high on life. Because when you've lived on the other side of halfway, am I in, am I out? It's called misery. And you step into this process, and that's why I'm not gonna play the video, but I was in Nashville 2 weeks ago. It's amazing traveling throughout the country. You kind of see where you might wanna spend some more time. So we took a peek at a couple lake houses, okay? Let's just say, what if? Yeah. What if? Good what if? What if?
The good what if, yeah.
And I sent an email off about a certain house. And want to talk about follow-up? I've never met this person in my life, and at first thought I got spammed. If you got that video from a number you don't know, and it's this dude, he went off. Let's play this. Let's just play this. And let me teach everybody something about follow-up. Okay? I've never met this person in my life, but I'm already telling you who I'm going to buy my house from if I get one in Nashville.
Hey, Doug, it's your boy, A.K.A. the Weatherman, and Tommy GTT Davidson wanted me to give you a shout. I'm one of the Mont's producers, and we've talked through email and through Eric, and I wanted to reach out to you. I think there may be a house that you're interested in on the lake that I think maybe Kelly Clarkston owns. I want to see if you didn't mind possibly give me the address and seeing what's a good time for us to go take a look at it. And also, is it okay if I send you a few more over? But most of all, I just wanted to formally introduce myself. I am Stephen Weathers. They call me A.K.A. the Weatherman. And Doug, I look forward to meeting you soon. Heard a lot of great things about you. Man, have a great rest of the day.
He will be my real estate agent in Nashville. Okay? Because I also sent about 3 other emails off to 3 other random houses to see who got back to me first. Or not to see, I haven't even heard from them. A personal text with a video, not even a voice text. And I'm a voice texter. So utilize these current technology to literally, how hard was that for him to hold that up? He looks like he just got done with a workout too. It's like he don't care. He didn't wait to get his tie on. Look, he's got a sweat towel right there. He's clearly sweating. I mean, that's the way the boys maybe do it in Nashville. It's just, hey, what's up? I'm A.K.A. the Weatherman. Like, he's giving me his nickname. We're already on nickname. Okay, because people follow people. Yeah. They don't follow houses. I will buy a house from this guy. He has a client for life if you're in the Nashville area because of taking the personal touch, 30 seconds. I know what he looks like. I know who I'm talking to. Truth be told, if I would have got that voice text, I'm like, who is this hillbilly getting ready to something, right? But now that I see him, I'm like, that's just the way they roll there. He's utilizing current technology. He is his CEO. He is his brand, not his agency. I think it's like Keller Williams. It doesn't matter. You know who my agent is? Is the Weatherman. It ain't Keller Williams. And if he switches over to whatever another brand is, I'm going with the Weatherman. I'm not staying with the company. You guys see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just so important.
So one thing that we started doing, I'll just give you a little example of ways, because you know, there's so much noise. There's so many people doing follow-ups and emails, and one of the things that stood out to me about that is it's different. It's unique. It's personal, right? So one thing that I do on social media, I don't know if you see this if you're on Facebook, it tells you every day whose birthday it is, right? So one of the things that we started doing is, one of the things you notice is that if it's your birthday, you get like 417 people that comment on your Facebook wall, happy birthday. And it gets overwhelming. Like just going through, and so I realized a little while ago, I was like, okay, you know what? I could be one of the noise. I'm giving you a free tip here. I could be one of the noise that just comments on a post, happy birthday. But then I started realizing if I texted them, yep, I get a response more because it's more personal. And then if I send them a messenger, I get more response. But then I was like, you know what? Everybody sends them happy birthday on their birthday. Nobody's telling them happy birthday a week before their birthday. So I started getting on there, and instead of doing it on their birthday, I would send them a week before. And I would say, hey, I see you got a birthday coming up next week. Any big plans? You going to take the day, or you going to celebrate the whole week and make it your week? I tell you, almost every single person responds. You know why? Because nobody else does that. And it's a way to just create interaction. I don't do that and say, oh, by the way, if you need a health coach. No, I don't do that. You know why? It's about them. It's about them, it's about them, it's about them. And I want them to know that I care and I notice that their birthday is coming up. And I'm telling you, it creates engagement.
See, money exchanges hands when problems are solved.
Yep.
There's 75 of us here tonight. There are 75 major problems in the world right now. And people would pay you, and I'm going to say millions of dollars, if they knew what you knew. Okay, so please do not, when I wrote the book, my editor, Jordan, said, Doug, the reason most people don't end up writing a book is because they underestimate what they already know. Their fear to get it out, they assume everybody knows what they know through. We are all good at something in this room. Yeah, we may be challenged or struggling or contending in another area, but we have so much wisdom and strength in another area, and we hold it to ourselves because we think, well, before we can dance, we got to get all these other areas in our life in order. We don't. We got to get into action and start serving this world. And so if you start posting about your video, your photography, you start posting about cooking ideas, and you do it long enough, consistent enough, I'm going to tell you right now, your side hustle will become a main hustle very quickly, because that's all, Tia and I are proof of that. Mm-hmm. I am here today because I finally stopped fighting Tia's side hustle because I was a skeptic, and I'm like, there might be fruit here. And I stepped into my unique ability, which is being with people versus buried in a retail furniture store, working 65 hours a week, having people just get pissed off at me for scratching their furniture. Now I got people texting me saying, thank you, you're helping me change my life, because I'm in my unique ability, and you, each and every one of us can do that too.
Yeah, you know, I love this too. How many of you would like to learn how to get more referrals in your business? You know, like, it doesn't matter if you do get more referrals. So, little fun story is Julie and I, a few months ago, were like, we are sick and tired of eating out all the time. Like, we're sick of it, right? Have a conversation with Mark. Mark tells me, hey, we just hired this lady. She's awesome. She makes our meals. We're like, we need to call her. It's Ruthie sitting right here. And
hold on, is this the Ruthie I had
yes,
her ribs last
yes,
night?
You had her ribs last night, and they're freaking amazing.
Ruthie.
Yeah. So
it was a special night last night.
Yeah, so Ruthie, let me tell you about what's amazing. So we had talked about this. Like, I think people, we don't like to talk about this, but we are people that like privilege, right? If you don't like privilege, you've never flown first class before. Like, you like perks. Stop denying it. You like them. Okay? You like the perks. You like the fast passes. You like all of it. All right? Stop trying to be a saint. You like it all. Okay? Ruthie, she comes and meets with us. We say, hey, let's give it a try. And on her meal, she signs, "Your chef."
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? We got a personal chef. It's something that's really small, but that's like, I like the fact that we got a chef that makes us 3 meals a week, and they're awesome, by the way, so talk to Ruthie. But it's a really cool thing, and that all happened because of referral. I didn't know Ruthie, but we had a conversation. I got around people that I trust, like Mark, and then when Mark finds value, and you add value to people, you're going to have people singing your praises and sending you business all over the place.
Yeah. So guys, I want to end where, not there. Crap, I really screwed it up. Jeff, can you help me get back to where we started? Because I want to hear from you. The next 15 minutes, Mark, Corey, and I want to hear from you, or even help you with anything, any stone that maybe we started to turn. And you're like, Doug, Mark, could you go a little deeper into that? Okay? So we want to take a few minutes for questions here, or awakenings. And before I do that, I want to help you be thinking is, what decision did you make tonight? Mm-hmm. Or what action are you about ready to take? So that's what I want to hear. Or if you have a question about something that was mentioned tonight, I really think you've got two of the best sitting right here. I'll put myself in that category. I'm decent. I'm all right.
Come on.
Okay, I want to help you win. I want to help you get into massive momentum. There's no more excuses. We live in 2019. Social media is free. We all have a unique ability. Like, if there's anything that you feel like you're not going to leave here and get your money's worth tonight, then we want to help you with that. We've got a couple microphones. So again, it goes back to decision. Recommit to the decision, okay? And don't apologize for the decision you made. Okay, when I said, finally, when I literally jumped up and down and said, I want to be a millionaire, and I'm not going to apologize for it, Mom and Dad, Pastor. You always ask for money on Sundays. Why can't I talk about it during the week? Okay? And besides that, my pastor doesn't have any issue with my tithe check, okay? So it's just interesting how,
No, I've said this before, but it's funny to me, like, if people are skeptical about what you do, it's funny to me how big of a fan a person becomes of yours when they become the recipient of your generosity.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy how that works? Like, when they become the recipient of your generosity, it's like, oh man, I love them. They're just the best thing ever. Yeah.
That's so true. So decide what you want and be unapologetic for it. Okay, and remember, people want to see somebody who takes what they do and what they're about seriously. At first, they'll hate on you, but you probably won't hear much of it, and don't pay attention to the one or two. But you know what? Eventually, they'll respect it. Yep. Number 2, do not ignore the things we got to confront, guys. This life is not, this isn't a practice life. This is our real life. Confront the hard things. Stay in creation, okay? Do not just know what you don't want. Start getting clear on what we do want. Contending, action. We haven't talked a lot about action tonight, but y'all, this thing takes work. I'm going to tell you a post that's about ready to go up on my social media tonight, because this is a cool group here. This is a hungry group tonight, okay? This thing takes work. This massive momentum tour is awesome. One of the best things I've ever done in my life. Am I exhausted? Absolutely. Am I ready to sleep in my own bed in Scottsdale? Absolutely. Have some nights of our massive momentum tour, have we had 500 people? Yes. Have some nights we've had 25 people? Yes. And everywhere in between. I talk about the ups and the downs, but this thing takes work. It's staying in action and not quitting. And last but not least, it's literally making the daily commitment to be consistent. Winning today. Win the day. Pick one area tonight. And maybe a lot of things are going through your mind about, oh my gosh, I want to do this and I want to do this. Confront one of them and win it tomorrow. Then win it again on Saturday. And then on Sunday, then on Monday. And then maybe pick off another one. And before we open it up, Corey and Mark, you guys would just want to echo any of these 6, and then we'll just open it up for the last few minutes.
Since you said we didn't talk much about action, I'll just add,
please.
Like, massive action is the cure-all. Yeah. Like, if you want things to change in your life, make a decision and go to work. Yeah. Stop making excuses. Talked about that a lot. And get to work. Yeah. One of the things, and this is something, like, here's the thing. You need to be naive enough to not have all the answers and do it. Yeah, do it. When I started my coaching company, everybody was like, hey, do you have a certification? A what? Like, you're supposed to have a No, I don't have a certification. I got smart. I said, I've been coaching for 20 years. I just had a different job title. People called me pastor instead of coach. And that was enough to get me first clients. Some of the guys, you were the very first group, right? Still in a group 2.5 years later, right? And so you have to be naive enough to not need all the answers and stay on the edge of courage and action. My coach told me that early on. He said, stay on the edge of courage and action. And now he tells me, Mark, your superpower is you don't hesitate. If you want to get massive results in your life, stop hesitating, which is fear, and begin to take some massive action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Take massive action. It doesn't work. Evaluate, step back, do it again. Make adjustments, do it again. Still don't, make more adjustments, do it again, and you'll begin to see new results. But you're not going to get new results until you do some new things.
And maybe just to tap into the consistent idea. I love that concept, one of your favorite shirts back there, daily commitment to be consistent. I love that. I think the key truly, because consistency is a hard thing for us because we think with our emotions way too much. But we've got to learn how to live in the tension of how to have short-term urgency with a long-term outlook. You are not building your business for the profits that are going to come in July. You are working hard and hustling and getting into massive action for what life and business is going to look like in July of 2020. The problem is we don't see immediate results from massive action right away, so we get discouraged and we get less and we do less action. And I'm telling you, the answer to discouragement always is more action. Always. The action to being discouraged in your business is always more action and talking to more people. When we get it reversed, we kind of scale back at it. So it's really, truly all about consistency and learning how to manage that tension. I am going to have short-term urgency, win the day, but I'm going to have a long-term outlook.
That's good. All right, so what decision did you make? What action are you about ready to take? Or what question do you have for one of us? Let's run a mic, huh? Let's start with, stand up. Someone stand up who's gonna ask the question. Oh, do we have a mic going back there? Oh, nice, look at that. All right, who's going first? Right there in the back, I love it.
With the Baptists.
The Baptist section.
Except I'm Presbyterian, but whatever. You just mentioned trying to build up your courage to leave a job, to do something else. I just did that, actually. I just left a job. Thank you very much. Yay. I am so committed and so confident in what I'm doing, and my poor, sweet husband is terrified. So what is your advice? It's not that he's a naysayer, but I jumped all in because of my belief in myself and what I'm trying to accomplish. He believes in me. Bills have to be paid. Real life has to happen. And I think it's a fair concern on his part. So any advice on that would be appreciated.
2 cure-alls for skepticism: trust and results. Yeah. I mean, I'm just, so, like, you better do the work. Yeah. You better be up before him. You better be taking the action. When you're doing stuff, if you're doing stuff on social media, are you a health coach? No, okay, doing something different. But when you're doing, not that yet, you guys are totally outnumbered in the room. When you're doing the work, like I do this with my kids, like when I'm working on my cell phone doing Facebook, I tell them, hey guys, I'm working right now, or I'll tell my wife, so she knows it's not mindless, whatever, like I'm doing work right here. My kids know, like, oh, daddy's on a call. Like that's language in our house now because they know I'm doing the work. The other thing on a real practical basis that my coach helped me with was when you're in this phase, startup, it's a little scary, it's a little messy. There are lots of ups and there's peaks and valleys. It's not this when you first start out. So when it comes to your husband, I would not recommend sharing the valleys with him. I would recommend sharing 2 things: progress and updates. Like results, progress, and updates. Like my wife, I love her dearly. When we started, I would share the ups and downs, and I would try to lean on her for strength, and I needed some encouragement today. And then I realized I'm shooting myself in the foot here because I'm trying to get her to believe, and yet I'm telling her the ups and downs. So when I shifted and I just started telling her the wins and the progress and the updates, totally shifted her perception of the progress we were making in the business.
So good. Okay, I'm just sitting here getting schooled. That was the best advice for couples working together that I've heard in forever. And I get this question quite a bit, and I wanted to hear a different perspective. And that's in important things of we've never arrived into, I believe, in reciprocal mentorship. Okay? We all have value to exchange with each other in the room. Okay, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you. Thank you for the question, because I just learned something. So important, so important. That's part of, if it's gonna be, it's up to me. It's taking personal responsibility, not to dump everything on the spouse either. But there's important for the updates. I love that.
Let me just tag real quick. Make sure you find, is this on?
No, I don't think so.
Check, test. Okay. Make sure you find the right people you can get that from. Yeah. So it's not just don't do it to your spouse. You have to find the right people. So I had a coach, I had a couple friends and mentors that I intentionally made a decision. All right, I'm not going to get encouragement on the down days from her. I'm going to get it from these 3 people. Yeah. So you make sure you do that.
So good. Who's next? This thing's just getting rolling. Who's fired up? Come on now. What? Oh, here we go. Now they're starting to pop. We'll go 1 and then we'll go 2 right here. Yep, after her. Yep, go ahead. You're right there. Yep.
Okay. So I am a new health coach, 2 weeks in.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited, and I'm working with my husband. He is feeling great, but not really willing to admit yet. He's still kind of on the fence. So similar to what this lady was talking about with her husband. I am in a group on Facebook, and I see all these other new coaches coming on that are like on fire and building these teams right out of the gate, and I feel like I'm back here just dragging along, and I know comparison is stealing my joy. I know it. So I am trying to get any tips I can on how to move past that and see and take the benefits of what these other people are doing instead of looking at them and going, oh, I can never do that. I suck. I'm terrible, blah, blah, blah. So. Well,
I'm going to start with this one, and then Corey, I want you to speak to it. Number one is you don't know that everyone is having success and results. Sometimes in our head, we're making assumptions, okay? So be careful what you're comparing to. Number two is people only post what's good. And I'll finish what I was going to say earlier. People love to take photos, speakers love to take photos of big crowds. But tell me the last speaker you've ever shown with a building that's a third full. You're going to see it later tonight. Because this is what hard work looks like. These are not that hanging out with you guys is hard work, but most people won't talk about the building was half full. Most people won't talk about, I didn't start any conversations and I didn't start a client for 3 weeks. You only see them getting celebrated for going senior coach or ED in the middle of summer, and we're like, oh man, why does my summer suck and theirs doesn't? It doesn't. They're only posting the wins, which is also a version for doctored up photos with no double chins on Instagram. They're only posting the good stuff, okay? So we got to make sure that we're staying in our lane, okay? Because we always don't really know what's going on. Corey?
We only compare ourselves with people that are ahead of us. We don't ever compare ourselves with people that make less than we do. We only compare ourselves with people that make more than we do, right? I think the biggest thing that I've learned, and this doesn't just apply to health coaching, it learns with anything else, you've got to learn, because we are addicted to winning, and that's a good thing. You've got to learn how to make the action the win and not the result. Yeah. If you learn how to every day make the action the win and not the result, pretty soon you will have more results than you know what to do with. But the problem for a lot of people is they don't see the action, they don't see the results, and they stop doing the action. Make the action the win. And I'm telling you, that person, if we're really competitive, that person may have more clients than you, but they're not going to start more conversations than me. That person, they may have a bigger rank than me, but they're not going to get on more trainings than me. So you control the things that you can control.
That's the mindset that gets you to the level. What's your level in the company?
Galactical.
Boom! That was good. Hey, can I recommend 2 books for that one? One by Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection. Great book for identity and that kind of thing. If you just want some of what Corey was just giving there, pardon the language, but it's the name of the book, You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. Tremendous book. The follow-up to that, You're a Badass and Making Money, also tremendous. But that's a great book to get the mindset around not comparing. So
I've just always wanted to say badass.
I know. I've never done it. I just did it. Don't let anybody tell.
Music.
Yeah, we did.
And also, I'd encourage you to talk to my former assistant, now full-time health coach in the back. Her name is Shay. You have your head down. I don't know your name. Julia. Talk to Shay after we're done, too. She's been in your shoes. Okay? I want you to talk to her as soon as you're done. She's going to help you out a lot. Awesome. Let's right here in front.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. This is really hard. I have been keeping myself from actually saying this out loud, and not just saying I want to do this, but I am going to be a health coach or life coach, whatever life thing. Currently working full-time as a pastry chef. Had the pleasure of working with Ruth, but I think it's been laid on my heart that I want to help people I think what's fearful about it is that because there are so many other health coaches and life coaches, talking myself out of it because feeling like, oh, well, it's so saturated. There's so many other people out there doing it. But not realizing how much value I can still add to people's lives.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm going to declare it now.
Yeah.
I will make it happen.
Let me tell you what's true. Here's what is true. I've been a coach for 9 years. And the areas where there are more coaches, the stronger the coaches. The areas where there's no coaches, the harder the coaches. You know why? Because sit with the winners of conversation is different. You get around people like Mark and Corey and all of us and doing a lot of things in one area, you can invite people to something like this, and there's is Doug 2 years and maybe 1 to 3 people showing up because we were the first ones in the area thinking, wow, we've got the monopoly, because that's scarcity. Thinking like, ooh, I've got to get them before someone else does. Okay, so I want you to remove any thoughts about the world, how the world thinks of like, is there enough to go around? There's millions and billions of people on this earth, and they need what you have. And you know what? They're not going to hear it from Doug Wood. Because you know what? They think Doug Wood has an ego because he names a book, Church Way to Millionaire. But they will talk to you. You see what I'm saying? That's why we can each, if that's what taking personal responsibility is. If we just each owned our 250 Facebook friends and we fostered those relationships and we added value to those people, we would all change the world. But the problem is some of you in this room are not fostering your 250, but I'm fostering my 750. Okay, if we each foster our 250 and own our zone and impact our 250, those 250 will impact their 250. And it will become a ripple effect, because that's the truth. There are people that will talk to you that will not have a conversation with Mark because they trust you. They do not trust Mark. Nothing against Mark. People follow people.
They think I'm on something.
You see what I'm saying?
They're like, they think I'm on something, but she's normal.
Exactly.
We'll talk to her. There's an article written a while ago, but he talks about 1,000 true fans. Like, you don't need 10,000. You don't need 1 million. You just need a 250.
Yeah, so Bill Gates changed the world with 11. You know, and I think that's the whole concept is realizing this is why, like in our business, like a lot of our clients can either refer people to us or they can become a coach themselves. And I'll say, listen, here's the truth. Those people that you're going to refer to me, they would much rather be coached by you because they know you. Yeah. And so it's really about expanding your influence. And you know, there's 70 to 75% of our society could desperately use a health coach. And here's the thing that I've realized, like our business, what I've discovered, our business, our specific business has been around for, 15 years maybe. And if our business tripled, we would still be reaching less than 1% of the United States population. There's a lot of people.
It's not saturated.
No.
One behind you, and then you're next.
One of my favorite chapters is, facing the beast, defeating the beast. I'm a high school English teacher, so I can talk to kids all day long. I can encourage, I can do all of that. I can have them, I've gotten Title I kids to West Point. But when it comes to shifting it to the adult side, it's a little bit different because, your kids, most of them have to listen to me because they're in my class. I struggle, and I am working so hard to defeat not living out loud. I want to live out loud. Yes, the past is the past. I've reconciled whatever, but living out loud it's that little bit of fear, that little bit of afraidness, but also it's that vulnerability that I'm enjoying a little bit. Mm-hmm. Any suggestions or any feedback that you can give me to help me kind of push a little bit more?
What's your name again?
Dawn.
Dawn, that's right. I knew that.
She just did her first Facebook Live last week.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So Dawn, I'm going to challenge you on something. I don't think you have totally confronted the past and let it go. And here's why. Because when we're afraid of talking about the past or talking too much, see, the moment I went live on my Facebook, and we didn't have a live button, but when I posted and I said, I have lost 65 pounds and I'm never going back, I knew when I put it on Facebook that it might as well be put in cement, because my own humility would not allow me to get back up to 280 pounds. Does that make sense? But I knew before I could post that, which it took me a week and a half, it was like, okay, Doug, if you're doing this, you're going all out and you're going to be held accountable, right? So sometimes the fear is there's comfort in, if I fully commit to this, I'm holding my own feet to the fire, and now other people are going to hold my feet to the fire. And I'm not saying you haven't dealt with your past. I'm just saying if you fully commit, it's like, for some reason, I don't know why we're talking about health tonight, but it's like not throwing away the fat clothes that we keep in the back of the closet just in case, because we know how much money we spent on them. But it's like, what if we don't want to get rid of them? No, the decision is when we go in tonight and we go home and we grab that big old rack and we take them to a friend or we donate them, because there's no going back. And if I go back, I'm gonna have to go buy new clothes because that's the cost. See what I'm saying? So it's a new commitment level.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm a huge fan of social media. Mark knows I travel the country teaching students responsible technology use. And I hear a recurring theme in here that it aggravates me if I don't speak up. You know, the young lady that said I became a health coach 2 weeks ago, Facebook knew 4 weeks ago that you were a health coach. Their algorithms are ridiculous. The lady up here that says, you know, it's a saturated market. It's not a saturated market. Facebook is showing you every health coach you could possibly know in the world, which makes you think it's a saturated market, which makes you not want to pursue it. You knew 2 weeks ago, Facebook knew 4 weeks ago, your feed is being curated by health coach stuff. And it makes you think you have nothing new to offer. And the youth that see this think everybody is always doing all of the cool stuff, and I'm just not. It's everybody's highlight reel. John Acuff calls it their highlight reel, and we compare it to our behind the scenes. Please don't base your business on what Facebook tells you is happening, because the feed is so curated towards what you want to see that it makes you think everybody's doing it, and they're not. And to Mark's point, even if they are, they're not doing it the way you would do it to the people who are connected to you. The people who like, know, and trust you don't have a clue who those other health coaches are.
I wish you could just drop the mic, but don't, because it'll break. But like,
That's right.
Just, you should have dropped it.
That's right. We've got 3 minutes left, so we're going to take one more question, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello? So, here we go. What's that? How y'all doing? Mark, earlier you were talking about not being perfect. You have a couple of relationship problems. I personally have relationship problems, but outside of relationship problems, I own an entertainment company. And with me owning the entertainment company, nothing gets done without me doing it. I'm the DJ, I'm the boss, I'm everybody. I run the security, all that. How do you balance life with, well, my fiance, but how do you balance the life with the wife and do business too?
And you want me to do that in 3 minutes?
2:45.
I think everybody could probably speak to this one, but I mean, it's multi-layers, right? So first of all, I don't even think about balance. I think about rhythm, and I think about quality of life. So like if you looked at Doug and said, hey, has life been in balance for the last 3 months on the road? Like not so much, but it's been a rhythm of creating time and creating space, right? So I think about that. So like, you know, there's busy seasons in our lives where where my wife knows, like right now, we're in a busy season. I've been on a plane like 5 times. I'm getting ready to fly out again tomorrow. I just got back 3 days ago. So there's seasons, and so you got to communicate with each other and say, okay, this is a season. But we just got off a 10-day vacation at the beach. So I made deposits. So now there's a withdrawal, but 10 days at the beach, that's our happy place. I was doing good there, right? But you've got to be aware of, and not like a great book you should get is the 5 love languages. So you know how to love her and how to make deposits in her and what fills her tank, because what fills her tank is probably not what fills your tank. So look at the balance, make sure you're communicating a whole lot. I could say so many things. On the business side, bro, you need teams. Yeah. Like you don't have a business, you have a job. A business, so there's a difference between being an owner of a business and an operator of a business. Right now you are an operator because it doesn't work unless you work. An owner of a business, you can leave and it still works. You still make money. The work still gets done. People still get built. Entertainment still happens, right? So looking at some books like 5 Dysfunctions of the Team, The Ideal Team Player, a couple books by Patrick Lencioni, great books. But like think about, okay, what are my next steps to build teams around me so that work gets done without me? Because if you keep using the excuse that if it doesn't get done if I don't do it, you're not going to have a healthy relationship, quality of life. You're not going to be able to do the things you want and have the kind of relationship you want. I love you. I'm just speaking truth, bro. But like, I want you to have, you want to have the abundance, right? Like you want to have that. Right now there's scarcity that's driving some fear things like, oh, they can't do it like me. So you need to switch over to an abundance mindset and say, I can build teams, I can get better results. They might do 80% or 60% of what I do. And so that's the two sides. I did 2.5 minutes. That's not bad.
That was awesome. That was awesome, was it not?